Hello everyone, how's everyone doing? Hi guys, my name is Diksha and I'm back with my weekly crypto updates, which covers a lot of news from India and across the globe. So let's get started. There's a lot that's happened, not just in India, but across the world this week. But let's start with what happened in the Indian market. After the recent news that the cabinet submitted a draft which could potentially ban cryptocurrencies again in India. There's a lot of anxiety in the market. Everyone's in fear. The communities are acting strong, and the industry people they're not gonna give up because they know that the government and even the government I'm sure they'll support positive regulation, and they won't really ban cryptocurrencies because it's so important at this point in time to support innovation, because we've seen if you're left behind even by an inch in technology, there are unprecedented times that come from nowhere, and it can really take a toll on your business and on societies. COVID-19 is a very good example that we should look at and learn from it. So yeah, as I said, there's a lot of uncertainty right now in the market, a lot of unanswered questions. As such, the government hasn't banned anything. In fact, they clarified that the banks the banks should be able to allow you know crypto guys to open accounts. There shouldn't be any problem with that. But even then, I've heard that there's not that easy access that business in terms of business accounts that crypto companies or crypto startups are getting. That's becoming a huge challenge even now, even after the government clarifying, and with the new rumors or whatever, the new updates coming in the media. You never know, because just a draft is submitted. Nobody's read the draft, so nobody knows what's in it. But there are a lot of news around it because there's nothing happening as such in the industry at this point in India. So there are a lot of news around this because that's the latest piece that was out like a couple of weeks back. So things were. I mean, it was a really exciting time if I remember, and we were talking about it. But now again, it's a little more anxious. People are anxious. But I'm sure the Indian community is going to fight it, and because it is the need of the hour, and it's if they don't, and if the government don't plan accordingly, then it's going to be like a self-defeating scenario. Like you've given up without even trying. So yeah, but I'm sure that's not going to happen. And let's talk about what could be the repercussions of this uncertainty, right? I mean, as I said, India's got a lot of crypto appetite. The amount of remittances and the amount of cross-border transactions, like people from abroad, they send a lot of money back India to their families. I mean, Indian families receive. I think last year they received about $83 million, in total. And and cryptocurrency is a really great way to do that, and it's a cheap way to do that, because if you're sending $200, I mean US dollars back home, it's going to cost you $10. So which is very expensive. I mean, that's how that's the US dollars. Like from Singapore, it's not that expensive. It will take you about $2, because Singapore and India have slightly eased up procedures there. So yeah, I mean that's like a lot of cost in cryptocurrencies. We're addressing all of these small issues, and especially in India, because it's a developing country. There are unbanked people. but people are using mobile devices, increasing penetration of internet, and so on. So obviously, it goes hand in hand. Um, and in with coronavirus situation in 2020, it's going to be even more horrible for people who are living abroad, for migrants, because this due to the unemployment rates everywhere, there's going to be a lot of decline in the remittances. So I think the World Bank has already forecasted like a 23% slump. So that's huge. But what can India do, to address this, address these issues at this point in time? I think the most very important thing is that the community should not give up. And since now, when there are a lot of international companies that are investing in the venture capitalists, that are investing in Indian companies and in Indian crypto startups, the community is very strong at this point, and I'm sure they will and the government's going to support this entire the entire encouraging they're going to encourage the crypto development. So in fact, I was reading that Ripple has, the head of India, I guess, he has made a few suggestions as to how India should take crypto laws. How should they structure crypto laws in the country, and what should they do, and things like that. And he talked about building a legal framework, and so that it can contribute to the broader economy, not just like cryptocurrency trading, or it should really help the broader economy with remittances, with financial inclusion, and things like that. And they should. He also talked about how the government should take advantage of the situation that we are in today, because this situation is like a huge. It's like a use case that people that we've been presented with. To use crypto in a positive way, in a positive and put positive regulations in economies like India. So I mean, if the lawmakers, they take advantage of the situation, and also become a little forward looking, and not just look at this particular time. They should just plan for probably decades. um, you know um, that's going to be very helpful, and it's going to make a lot of difference, and will make India stand out when it comes to crypto regulations. And this is like an opportunity, with COVID-19 and the challenges, because every time that we have unprecedented challenges, we have an opportunity, to innovate and to come out stronger. So it's one of those situations. They have an opportunity to develop something, develop a regulatory framework or a structure around cryptocurrencies or digital asset ecosystem. So I'm really optimistic. I'm really positive that that will happen, and there's going to be like a very careful discussion around this, and everybody from the community is going to get together. They're going to weigh all the pros and cons, and I mean, they're going to look at how technology-agnostic cryptocurrencies are, and how can they help you manage a lot of risks? How can they help the already happening technology revolution in India? How can they push it further? So I'm sure that's going to happen. But these were some of my thoughts that I wanted to share with you, because the market's really there's a lot of as I said, there's a lot of fear, and there's a lot of doubt around what's going to happen in next few months. So in fact, even countries like Iran, right? They're looking at Bitcoin very positively, and they're thinking it could bring a lot of economic stability, because everyone's dealing with COVID-19 and the economic slowdown. So even countries like Iran, they're looking at Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies with that lens. which is quite progressive and forward looking. Yeah, so these were my thoughts around what's happening in India, and what I think should happen, and how the community should probably plan things forward. Let's see some of the globally exciting global news that we saw this week. I think the most important one, all of you must have read it, that the giant PayPal, the fintech giant PayPal, they're rolling out sales of cryptocurrencies, and they have more than 300 million users. So that's going to be really huge now. I mean, people said that they're gonna start selling Bitcoin, but that's not what I read in the announcements. They just mentioned that they're gonna allow sales of cryptocurrencies. More than that, nothing was clear. But yeah, I mean, what do you think? Would it turn very bullish for Bitcoin in the next few months? Because I think when last time there was, I think in 2017, Coinbase allowed credit card crypto payments, and that really proved to be very bullish for Bitcoin. Could that happen again? I mean, let's see. And what can we expect for Bitcoin price? Because of this news, because I believe this is a very big news, and it's a very big. It's like a progression, right? And I think it's going to really impact the price as well. I don't think like it's going to impact like probably more than a particular range, but yeah, there's going to be some positive effects on the Bitcoin price that we could see in the next few months. So let's watch out. Other than that, so Bitcoin miners, they produced just about 71 empty blocks, which were like they're quite less, So in this first 5 months of the year, they produced about 71 blocks, which is quite less, and it's actually half the percentage of what was done last year in the same period. The improvement might be down because there's better mining technology around, and there's a focus on transaction fees, and especially after the halving. So yeah, I mean, this is something interesting to look at. Also, the size of Bitcoin whales has increased a lot. I mean, it's similar to what it was seen in September 2017, when the price approached 20,000. So I mean, it could mean some price surge for Bitcoin as well, but I don't know. And yeah, there are now 1,000, more than 1,800 Bitcoin owners that hold at least 1,000 Bitcoins. Yes. So yeah, I mean, they typically hold less now than they were holding in 2016, but even then. So I think this is something that causes a lot of volatility in the market, right? And one thing to deal with it is to move towards mass adoption of cryptocurrencies. That's the only thing that can deal with such with Bitcoin rates, just to address it. So yeah, I mean, that's why I say, like, we need more positive regulations. We need a lot of mass adoption. We need people to really start using, and in a way start using cryptocurrencies in a way that could impact the economic structure of various countries. Well, also there was a news that the back-end development of China's digital currency has been completed, and it's in testing phase. So it's a big thing. They released. They also released their 18th Global Public Chain Technology Evaluation Index, and Bitcoin hasn't been put under the top 10 based on market capitalization. So that's something. I mean, it's not being kept under the top 10 tokens in the public chain technology evaluation index that they announced on the 18th of June, which is not very exciting, but yeah, I mean that's something that's happened. I mean, considering China and how they've proceeded with a lot of things around cryptocurrencies in past few years, it was not that very surprising. But yes. Also, I was reading that recently there was an article that Canada is also planning to build a central digital backed currency in their country. I mean, there's nothing very clear. There's no announcement, but yeah, there've been rumors. So that's like another country doing it, which is why I call the mass adoption of cryptocurrencies, and that's how it's going to impact the broader economies. So that's great. As I said, there's no official announcement, but there definitely rumors floating around. Yeah. So the next thing that we have is so we talked about JP Morgan and how how they, in one of their calls, they actually said that Bitcoin's not an asset class. Some of the analysts recently, they based on some of the notes to their clients, they've said that Bitcoin's not uncorrelated to traditional investments such as stocks, but I mean it's been very they said that it has passed the rough test recently due to the price volatility that happened. So it's which is like a good thing that happened. Like it really stood well for these past few weeks. But it's not something as big as disruption. That should be called. So yeah, I mean they concluded that cryptocurrencies, they passes their first stress test at this time. However, to become really big, and how to increase the mass adoption of cryptocurrencies, it will take some more time there. So yeah, that's what they said. Yeah, and Consensus Codify is going to launch Ethereum 2.0 staking service as a pilot, like as a testing phase. And the target market is obviously, the staking APIs that, things like Gate.io exchanges, similar exchanges, huge exchanges, wallet providers, and, cryptocurrency companies. So yeah. Also, Reddit holds an Ethereum scaling backoff. So Reddit and Ethereum Foundation are inviting Ethereum scaling projects to show how their scaling solution can be used to bring Reddit's community points to mainnet, to support the hundreds and thousands of users of community points, and then later to scale all of it, to Reddit's 430 million monthly users. Yeah, so I think they also said that they'd like for projects to come and share the demo on the projects, and by July 31st. And yeah, they wanted them to talk about scalability, decentralization, interoperability, and security. I think that's something very interesting, because I think these few characteristics are really gonna define the path of cryptocurrencies and blockchain as we move. Um, Also, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, they released a report recently where they said that XRP is not a security. It argues, that the cryptocurrency XRP, it does not qualify as a security token. Also, something exciting is that the Ethereum Foundation, they donated, in cryptocurrencies in 2019. They donated to UNICEF in cryptocurrencies in 2019, and they're following up another donation this year. And that's very exciting for all of us as a community, and that cryptocurrencies are able to help help in the non-profit area, and it's really like a good use case. So that's all for today, guys, and I hope you liked the topics that I covered today, and we'll meet next week same time. Bye bye, stay safe.